Between the three of us, there is nothing that we cannot achieve here.
No, absolutely not. That's true.
So we're starting by the electricity cabinet.
We're going to start here. Well, only because you very wisely had an extra gain on it just to bring additional power to the chateau.
Yes.
So, we've been talking about it. Obviously, we spoke to Ian Lloyd. Dave and I have spoken about it, and we think probably 3 monophase supplies rather than a tri-phase, and then going through all the separation of that. We're trying to split all those phases all the time to feed 2 apartments here. Obviously, what's going to be a much larger apartment over there. Something called complex maybe later on. So 3 individual supplies can then individually go to.
So that's what's best. 3 individual supplies.
Well, I'm not an electrician, but it seems to be the easiest.
It seems to be the most straightforward, and I think overall more cost effective and a lot simpler to do.
It will be less expensive to put in 3 monophase connections instead of 1 tri-phase.
I'm happy with that. I don't mind.
Also, if one did have a major breakdown problem, we still have the other 2 totally independent. So it makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
And again, cost-wise.
The only thing that might be interesting to look at is to use 1 monophase just for the 2 apartments that are being built now. Seems a bit overkill. So if it might be possible to connect a part of the chateau to that as well, so that we decrease the burden on the existing
what I would do,
installation.
That's an option. What I would personally do is take them through, have them go to a new fuse board. We don't need to connect the 2 that we're not going to use anyway.
No.
If we just put this one on to say 12 or 15 kilowatts of both apartments, probably 12 would be enough, in all honesty. So we can upgrade what we want as we need it.
Yeah. So
we can look at further installation concepts from there.
Yeah.
It's just a case of taking the tail, isn't it, from one of the fuse boards?
No, that's true.
Okay, so we need 3 monophases.
Yes. Of course, we've got to go from here down to there, which means we're putting a trench in here.
Yes, and this is now down to you, isn't it, Davy? Because you're working on the final plans for this courtyard. And that's something that we need to have in mind when thinking of where the septic tank's going to go and where we'll be passing things like
That's
this.
another good reason for being outside, because we have found yet another man who hasn't got an 18-month delay on FOSS septics who should be coming this coming week.
Okay, so then we can talk to him about it.
Yeah.
So just going along here with the trench is okay, and in terms of the FOSS,
It is and it isn't. What we need to know, we spoke about it briefly, obviously with the walkway going up above our heads, like I say, a final design or sub-design, obviously there's going to be leg supporting it substantively.
there will be, and the architect was here, so she will give us those plans as soon as they've made them.
I just don't want to put a trench and then suddenly find out and put a support legs or something there. But we will probably come.
She also said that her first thought was to do a fairly narrow one that's the same width as the amount that the hangar comes out, the roof of the hangar. So to just keep that line, but she hasn't done the final plan. She was just sort of brainstorming as we walked around.
Are we having a fire escape on there?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it needs a staircase
It has,
somewhere.
yes, it will definitely have a staircase.
And have we also considered bringing that along to the other bedroom there overhead?
I didn't talk to her about that. I did talk to her about taking all the way past the hangar and to that side, because I would quite like a balcony eventually on the hangar. And she noticed, you know, the height difference in the floor, it's much higher.
Yes.
It's actually been raised. It was lower.
Oh, right. Okay.
So it can actually come back down again. You can see over there. Obviously, there was the fact that the doors were lower, which was odd. And then Philip and the architect, when we were walking around, noticed the original beam holes where the floor used to be.
Right.
And the
That was because
original,
this was raised.
yeah, and I think the original support where the thing would have come to, the bottom beam.
But that's on that side of the wall. On the other side, it isn't.
On the other side,
It is too. It is, but there's render on it.
there seems to be a much lower line
Yeah.
of bricks, of stones along there that it would have come down to, we think. But here it's very clear. You can see where it's been filled
Yes,
in.
it makes sense, doesn't it, with the 2 floor levels as they are.
Because they would never have put doors
No.
going like
No,
that.
no, no.
She thinks they may have raised it for hay bales. coming in
Just
and
raised
there
it
in
because
the
they've
cart.
actually raised the whole opening.
I'm just thinking maybe they raised it when they did something to that door, because it looks like If you lower the floor to the same level as next door, it might just exactly hit that beam.
We think it will come just above the beam.
Could be, yeah. We need to measure that.
But it would make a huge difference because you could then take the floor out, it would come to the base here.
Yeah.
And so you could actually go out on a balcony then, whereas before we couldn't. We were coming out too high.
But in fact, if we're going to have a floor here, we'll have a third beam coming through here anyway, we'd have to.
Yes. So this isn't for now anyway,
No,
but it
no.
does affect the plan for the walkway. So she needed to be aware that we might be doing this so that she can plan the walkway at the same time.
Yeah. If you want to extend the walkway, would you extend the walkway as far past the roof overhang so that you can walk around the corner that's
Well,
there
that's what
now,
she was
or-
debating. She thinks it might be better to stop it, have it coming down, and have a separate balcony coming out over this bit. But that's all the things she's going to play with.
Yeah. Because I
and
think it would be a
decide.
shame to
Come further.
touch the roof structure as it is now.
She also said she doesn't want to touch the roof structure. And one exciting thing was that I said that in the future, if we do make this into a communal office space, which I would really love for Nick and Michael and me, we could all work up there, that it would be nice to have a couple more of the dormer windows looking towards the chapel. But then she had much bigger ideas and said, why don't you just do the same thing on the other side? And
As
have
this
glass, and have glass on both sides. So it's just, you're just surrounded by the views everywhere. And she was saying that this area, which could be part of your planning for the courtyard, would make a really lovely summer sitting room.
Absolutely, yeah. So we'd need to have drains and water supplies for an outdoor kitchen, just the same.
Yes.
Yeah, for any here.
We've kind of got those plans haven't we, when we were discussing how we're going to feed all these other projects. Like, that's not an issue, I think.
Yeah.
I think that'll be fine.
It doesn't need to be a complex outdoor kitchen because obviously there'll be one by the pool,
Yeah.
but enough to be able to have a little sink. You can make a cup of tea
Yeah.
and a little fridge for cold drinks
Yeah.
for sitting here and then being able to walk straight out onto the other side. So I think in terms of all of the things that we've been brainstorming, what to use this space for, this is one of the ones I like the most so
I
far.
like that idea.
Yeah. The only thing you need to look at is a lot of these buildings now are being used for storage.
Yes,
And
yes,
and you're,
you need
you're,
the storage.
you're planning on using them for a more specific
Yes.
function, so you will need to find something that has a purpose as storage to put everything
I
that's
agree.
here now into that. So
I'm wondering about behind the vegetable garden, storage for all of the equipment, all of the cars and tractors
Yeah.
could be stored under a hanger there, but the wood, I don't know. Okay, but I just wanted to keep you abreast. This is
Yeah, yeah,
not now.
No.
It's not for a very long time, but we have to have an idea of the future plan, which is what you've been saying a lot, Dave, which is let's plan everything and then do it
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
sections.
yes,
Especially if you're thinking of sort of creating this gable end effect there,
Yes.
that's this whole roof off and start again.
yeah,
Complete new
you
roof.
need to remove the entire thing.
Yeah. Because of all the weight loadings and everything else to go with it.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, we could put dormers in there. That wouldn't really take too much calculation. But once we do just take that away and change the whole thing so it's a mirror image of each other, it's a complete new room.
Well, that maybe changes things a little. There's only so much that I want to do. I did like the idea, though, of it being glass on the other side, too. Okay, well, that's something to think about and cost, more importantly.
Oh, there's always going to come in there somewhere.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So should we move on to Natty's apartment?
Yes.
Before we go into Natty's apartment, we're just looking at this trough and wondering what we should do with it. Because you were thinking, do we move it somewhere else? Do we get rid of it altogether? Because Davy, you're saying that it will no longer be on our system. It will no longer be on our garden water system.
Yeah, the existing pipes are completely shot, so
Yes.
they can be reused. So if you wanted to connect this pipe, this tap to the system that's going in, that Matt is putting in, we need to dig up the entire courtyard to get here, dig underneath the trough, through the wall, and then through
Back.
the floor, and then all the way to the tap where it is now. So that would be really expensive, especially because this tap will only be used as water for something you want to rinse in the trough.
Yes.
And all the other, all the water Dan is using now for the garden, which he's getting here, will come from other taps that are going in on the new system.
Which are going in anyway.
Yeah, sure.
So I think we keep it, though, because it's probably been here a really long time.
It looks like it.
We can put mains water to it. You could do that, couldn't
Yeah,
we?
you
And
can put
from
mains water to it,
inside
that's no
Natty's. And then I think that rather than changing the whole thing, because it's original to here, maybe find an old back of a fountain with the tap coming out,
Yeah.
which would make it look a little bit more finished off.
True. Yeah. It would. If we have a new tap, it would at least look better than the.
Yes, just coming out of the wall like that. A really pretty
DIY
tap, a
installation.
nice back, one of those sort of oval ones,
Yeah.
and in a similar stone. And then maybe, just behind you, Philip, in between the two doors there, the two huge carriage doors, we could have a little similar fountain against the wall.
Yeah.
There's one more thing to take into account, because I thought you wanted to lower that window.
Yes, we do. How low will that go?
Well, it's going to mirror
Same
image
as
the
that
other
one.
side, doesn't it?
That's too low if you want to raise the floor in the bathroom. Window in the bathroom can't be that low. Or like,
Well, it can be definitely
I
frosted
think
glass.
it can be.
could be,
Yeah,
but it
it's
has to be frosted glass.
It's frosted
Yeah.
glass.
Yes,
that's
or a
all.
little thing in front of it.
Could be as well. Yeah. But if you want to go as low as the existing window in the gardener's cottage, it's going to be round
About to the line,
That's-
isn't
We're going
it?
to follow this
the
line here.
cell
doesn't
would
it?
be here.
We're still okay then.
Yeah, I don't think that's a problem.
Yeah.
There is the fact that if we did try to move it, it's probably quite fragile. I just don't quite understand what's happening with this system and what it actually does, because all this ground level here needs to be, although we need a fall to the drain, we need to kind of level this out.
It needs to come up. Yeah.
Yeah.
The slope is too big.
Yeah.
That's true.
So do we raise everything up to suit this level here? Can't really, because we're going to be bringing cars in there. We actually need the slope that we have here.
I think the slope up here would be
Probably about
fine.
as much as we want. If what do we do with this configuration we have here? Because it's just a mess. Obviously, stoves have lifted, dropped. We've got to consider: do we have to keep access to that system? This is assumably. Is this another system, or is it the same one?
I genuinely don't know.
It
One is a
seems very
well.
strange
isn't
to
it?
have.
We'd need
I
to.
think one is a well.
Well, if
Open
one's
them
a
both
well,
up.
Does it probably have water in? Do you know?
I think it does.
If
Low
it's a
down.
well, why don't we use that to feed the trough, or we could just have an on-demand pump?
That would work.
If it's only on-demand, electricity is almost zero.
But then you'd still need to drill through the entire confection to come outside.
Necessarily.
That's
But we might be changing a lot here anyway, mightn't we? When we finish the courtyard.
We could have an on-demand pump there, and we could lose that under the ground to feed up.
We could. Having said
could
that,
always
this
be
is
like a
often
fountain.
used for cleaning things and rinsing things, so it might be a good idea to have it on mains water anyway, because then we know it's clean.
Yeah, there is that.
But we could possibly use whatever we find here to run the little pump of
Yeah.
a fountain,
Run the fountain,
in between those.
Yeah.
It might be worth using what we find.
Yeah.
You've got your work cut out, Davy, because trying to plan this into something beautiful. I'm looking forward to seeing the plans.
It's this point here that's the highest.
I think
Yes.
slope-wise, the easiest solution would be to remove this grate, because that causes the slope from that point to the trough to be really steep.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you move it 5 meters downwards, you'd have much longer distance to spread the slope out over.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All right, let's have a little look then inside Natty's apartment.
Gosh.
We're all trying to work on layout here, and we have, I think there's 4 of us in the room, and there's 4 differing opinions as to exactly how the layout should be. I think we're all pretty happy with sort of kitchen-y area here, bathroom here, bedroom, sitting room there, going towards the garden. Everyone seems agreed on that. Everyone's happy. Nobody knows how we get from floor level at the doors here to floor level at the new door at the back, which will go onto the garden, which is 60 centimetres higher. Or 55, but as you say, 60 once everything is done.
Yes. Yeah.
So do we put the new floor from about this door here at 60 centimetres, I guess that'd be around here-ish, and then have some little stairs going up and a balustrade for a separate height for the whole bathroom, bedroom, sitting room area? Or do we do what Philip and Ian are slightly more into, which is have it more open plan? So we have 2 steps going up to a slightly lower level, and the 2 steps go all the way along, very South African kind of feel. And then the higher level here will have no balustrade, so it'll flow more. And then there'll be another step leading out onto the garden. So these are the two different ways, and we can't quite agree. I don't think either team hates the other team's ideas.
No, it's not that. It's your chateau. I think for me, it's the practicality and how it works. Safety is obviously true. If we go up to 600 high, we're going to have to put a railing and a balustrade. And for Natalie, that's basically going to be 1.5 metres up. That's going to be your eye level. All you're actually going to see. You're going to miss the ring. You're going to see the balustrade.
Yeah. So you and Philip feel that a balustrade is going to kind of block that area off, make the space closed in. My view is also safety, which I find split level a bit unsafe. The thought that you can just fall down 40 centimetres because there's no balustrade seems like a trip hazard. But also, I find it a bit modern in an old barn to have that kind of split level. But I'm absolutely happy to be persuaded because I don't think either will be right. I think either could be done really well.
I think so. And this chateau has got hundreds and hundreds of years of evolution running through it. So we're now putting your stamp for your tenureship.
But is my stamp split level? And that's the question I'm asking myself.
Well, we are split and divided on that.
We're split on the split levels. But that's fine, we can start to mock things up and think about it. I think for the main points, we're in complete agreement. And we have to speak to Natty, see if she also has an input in this. She's away at the moment. I know that she had liked the idea, if it goes up the full 60, of having cupboards in the side so she gets storage underneath. But I don't know whether she would prefer it not to go up that high at all. We'll ask.
I mean, that is another increased cost because that's going to have to be pretty well handmade. There's not going to be something off the shelf that we buy to do that, and we've got to configure the flooring to be strong enough to actually take
on the outside bit.
We can't have the floor sagging, so they're going to be reasonably small pockets.
And we're not going to give her the whole void. I mean, we could use Natty altogether, and she's going to get her summer wardrobe.
We kind of a giant scale electrics for her. She just goes in this way and comes out wearing something else.
Brilliant, I'm starting to like it. Okay, on to the next bit of planning then.
Okay, I'll just one more on this one.
Yes.
Are we knocking the log burner concept on the head altogether?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go radiators?
It's not that I don't want a log burner. I would actually really like a log burner for the beauty of it and the extra coziness in winter. That's perfectly nice. That would depend on the cost. But I think putting in the sort of cost that we were looking at, it was something like 13,000 for
that was
the two.
including the two log burners.
Yes, and that was for the proper ducted heating
the whole ducted
system.
heating coming back down into this room.
Yes.
And of course, also because it's internal, the security system that goes with it is still secure. Don't get me wrong. But that adds on, and of course then you've got these false chimneys on the top. You can't just suddenly have stainless steel one looks like Burger King out the back.
Well. Yes.
They've got to be these faux brick chimneys in keeping with the chateau.
So
that does compound itself on.
And I think that that's too much to spend on a heating system that I realistically don't think Natty is going to want to do the upkeep for every day. It'll be fun the first week.
Yes,
she'll love it for the first week because she's next door to the wood store.
Yeah.
But after that, the clearing out of it, the putting the wood in, the being freezing cold if you haven't done it, I don't think that's a future.
And that's why we always
solution.
said we would have a backup electrical system if that was the case.
Yes.
But now we've moved on to saying, well, we'll take it from the main chateau. We'll add a couple more radiators to both floors because we're also discussing now about changing the system we have now to have a separate eco boiler to run the radiators and the geothermal for the floor. So
maybe even a separate geothermal with more boreholes. Because what I love about geothermal is that it just does it by itself.
It does.
We're not bringing any fossil fuels in. We're not having to burn anything here, stoke things.
I disagree because you're having to use electricity to boost that.
Yes, but electricity is not a fossil fuel. Electricity, in the future, we could even be making ourselves with solar panels. We're getting 2 dogs. One big one and one little one. Look, they're adorable.
Oh, they were here yesterday as well.
Are they? The little one's really cute.
I think they're from the farm up the top.
Yeah.
Oh, they're so sweet.
They walked around the entire garden
They
yesterday.
do, yeah. I've seen them before.
They seem quite at home.
Yes.
I like dogs.
Okay, you can go and say hello if you want.
Oh,
no, they're busy.
Oh.
They're very busy. They're on a project.
Alright, the little ones thing. Keep.
That's just a pup, isn't it?
No, you can't keep the little one, Philip.
What?
No, let the little one go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway, I thought the hedgehogs right now, anyway.
But
Yes.
I would like a price for having a log burner in this apartment and in the future in Jerry's apartment upstairs. So that we know, because I know
Well,
Jerry would love
We have the system. Effectively, if we didn't have the log burner down here, then that cost of all that going up and the heat recovery system obviously comes off it. That's actually going more than half the cost.
Yeah.
You've got one chimney to buy. Those things don't come to you. There's a couple of grand there.
So they can't both go out of the same chimney?
No, you can't take it through.
No, you can't combine them. That's true. You need to have two next to each other. I do think the
That
heat
may-
recovery system might be a bit overkill, since we're going to be insulating this space much better than the rest of the chateau. The heat needed to heat it will be much less.
Okay, the heat recovery system's about €1,400. The actual box and the pipe that goes with it, and it's free because you've already created that heat anyway. So rather than put it into the atmosphere,
Yeah.
let's take off on that.
So it's
what
the
we can.
chimneys that were causing us the real difficulties, was it?
A lot of it. Well, originally I was going to put it on the outside wall, wasn't I? And so we could actually go up just with the very plain stainless steel pipes or even
Yes.
the matte finish.
But that's no longer an
straight up and out
outside
because
wall.
no, there'll be more commercial in there if that's going to be office space. If we
No,
did-
it's going to be stunningly beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, no, really,
Okay.
like your chateau style,
which-
definitely.
But I was going to say, well, that's pretty good thing because now I don't have. We're going to change that roof, then the whole configuration would have to be
Yeah,
redone.
null and void
So,
anyway.
yeah. So if we just did one for Jerry, then that's fine. But that doesn't mean Jerry's got to lug them all the way around. Well, if there's a staircase here for outside, then it's probably a bit easier. But there's only so many logs you're going to carry up a steel staircase.
Well, let me speak to Jerry, see how much he wants one. If he wants one, then I'm happy for one to go in. I think Natty likes the idea of
But
one.
Natty
but-
seemed very keen.
Yeah, exactly, but it's for
We could do
fun
that.
maybe 4 nights a year.
But, well, that's the thing, and it still needs a backup, whether it's electrical.
Oh, absolutely.
Radiators
We need
or
it to be
wet
not the
radiators.
heating system. It's not
Yeah.
the heating system.
But I mean, we're still paying for our electricity on one or another. I know those things with the geothermal, as great as it was always sold on as, once you're starting to heat upper layers, because it's a lot, the water there's hotter than you need from down the floor heating, I just think it's another big electrical cost.
I think it's because we don't have enough boreholes. I think
For
we're
the
not
entire
bringing
chateau,
enough
absolutely.
power.
Absolutely, yeah, there's no.
I think if we were bringing in more power, it would do a much better job.
I think, I would have thought so.
And in fact, it's possible that the boiler that we have would do it if it had more boreholes.
I don't know, I don't know.
It wouldn't necessarily be a second one.
Hello.
Hello.
You're funny little fella, aren't you? Other finger off.
Where's the little one?
Okay, so I think the only thing to do then is to have different pricings, different
Yeah.
costings, and then we can make a decision on that.
Certainly find out what, again, if we've got energy, we can find out what, because we're commercial, we can find out what options there are for a solar farm kind of concept. We've got a back car park there, if we could draw from there, or we could draw from.
I would love solar one day.
I
I don't
think
know if we've
solar.
got enough land, but I can certainly get something.
I honestly think that the wall garden is the perfect place.
I said the if you have the walled garden, indeed, and there's the wall that's facing this way with
Yeah.
the gate.
Yeah.
It has a roof on an angle,
Yeah.
and that has is south facing.
Yeah.
It's the half
yes,
one.
Yes, the one going that way.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
one. Yes, I
Yeah.
agree because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not
yeah.
seen from here.
Exactly.
The one on this side. I
No,
think.
no, that's not the one I'm talking about.
But yeah, that
Yeah.
one. Yes, but I don't think that would do the heating on its own, the photovoltaic. I think it would
No,
probably run this
will give
heating
us,
system.
it will give us the energy
Yeah.
for free, well, not for free.
Ah, hang on. Is that dog after the chickens?
Not possibly.
Oh my god!
Oh,
He's got one of the chickens. We'll close the gate.
Good idea. Yeah, we'll get to the other one.
Seth. The woman's coming.
Those are neighbours' dogs. We have lovely neighbours, and actually the dogs are really sweet, but they weren't used to seeing a cockerel loose, and Well, Philip, I don't think you stopped filming, but you overtook me at great speed and managed to get to the dog before I did. And the cockerel ran off. Was definitely alive when we last saw him. He's left half his feathers here. Poor Spud. The dog's delighted with himself. He thinks he did ever such a good job. He didn't mean to do it. But anyway, she's mowing the lawn, so can't watch them at the moment. And I said, well, keep our gates locked this afternoon, and tomorrow we'll reopen the gates and she'll watch the dogs. Oh, that was very dramatic, I thought. Poor cockerel. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness you're a faster runner than me, Philip, because that was a goner if it hadn't been for you.
There's a lot of feathers here as well.
Yeah, that's very important. We found Spud. He's cowering down there, poor thing, but he is alive. And we're just going to leave him alone because I think that the biggest problem must be his heart at the moment. He'll be in shock. So we're just going to leave him there. Oh, poor thing. Oh. Anyway, he's alive. Let's hope that he's okay. I'll shut the gate. Thank you, Philip.
You're welcome.
He went tearing past me. I was at my top speed there. Right, well, after that rude interruption of our very important borehole discussions, let's go to the China pantry. So, two main things that Davy and I wanted to talk to you about here. One, which Davy told me, it's just that we actually need to insulate the outside.
I think that's very sensible.
Yeah, so there's no point for Ian to plaster this one.
We'll frame it off.
Yeah. On this outside. Well, the rest, yes.
We're going to stick with the 170 Kingspan type insulation, the polyurethane.
And you want to use rock wool like the rest? It breathes.
It does breathe better, but I know you prefer the rock wool. I mean, certainly for the ceiling, you quite like that in the walls as well. When we were talking about upstairs, you said to go with, I think maybe it was 10 centimetres of polyurethane, or whatever it's called, the Kingspan, and then back that up.
For the roof structure.
Yeah, that was on the gable wall. Mm-hmm. So with this here, do you not want to put a certain amount of that in as well, just the rock wall? I mean, anything's better than nothing. There's no great value on rock wall.
If you do want to do it in 2 layers, then the best way would be to use rock wool on the back side, because that can fill the space more easily and it breathes better with any kind of moisture that would come through the wall anyhow. And then put the Kingspan in between the battens on the inside.
That's how I would do it.
And that's how you could finish it.
I think 100 mil of that would be fine.
So just for people who don't know, i.e. me, what is the difference between the Kingspan and the rock wool?
Well, rock wool is a flexible material which you usually use in a roof structure between purlins.
It looks a bit like fiberglass, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It looks like, but it's not.
Yes. So it's a.
But it moves in the same way, it's similar.
It's a mineral made from basalt rock, in principle.
So it is literally wool
rock.
made from rock. Wool. The clue is in the name.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed. And then hard foam insulation. PUR or PIR, so that's polyurethane foam or polyisocyanate foam.
Is that what you're referring to as Kingspan?
Yeah, it's a brand name. Most people know it as that name.
Yeah. That's a hard foam board.
But that the yellow foam stuff, it looks
yes, when it comes in various colours, but quite often it's a yellow or orange colour.
Yeah.
You either have it with a silver foil laid to it, or which is actually not as common in France.
It wouldn't be necessary here.
You don't need that balance.
So did you just debate that you're having both here?
Yes, we do.
That's one way of solving it.
The R value, which is the retention of the insulation, is not the reflection, etc. So it's stopping that cold coming through.
Yes.
But because this is so uneven, if you were trying to put the panels of the rock wool,
yes,
you don't get pockets where the fibres would take care of that, and then pushing onto it would be the polyethylene.
Okay, lovely. Well, the more the better.
Yeah.
And then we will need to bring through.
This isn't insulated, is it?
Well, the floor slab in and of itself is a type of insulation. So the depth is bigger than the usual concrete height you use for a floor slab. And because it's a limecrete, the limecrete in and of itself is insulation. It's not exactly the same as if you would use a hard foam insulation like we use next door.
Sure.
But this is a breathable solution, so it's a comparison between both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I take this here because I'm still concerned about floor level height, so that's my concern.
Yeah.
But this can absorb, this line will absorb water quicker than.
Well, I'm aware that there will be still, therefore, some moisture coming through, which is why I want us to run a radiator down here, even though we don't necessarily need this reheated. But I think that will help to
What
control.
about would a heat mat not work better because it's going to hold it back? If the moisture rises, it rises, but we have nothing to stop it.
Yeah, but then the line creep can't breathe either, because it needs that connection between the air and the line creeps to be able to.
And also, we have no floor insulation in the other part of the corridor that does have radiators, and that, it's fine. We seem like so. I'm hoping it'll be alright if we bring through a hole from the loo that Salmar's working on. I've just told Paul Salmar to halt work on the downstairs loo. Again, I don't want him finishing the boarding until we've drilled the holes through for the radiators to come this way. So there's a little
That's going to
pause.
go through the
Cold store.
Cold store.
and then through
And
here.
into here.
Can we not drop one down from this bedroom?
Well, we could.
This is
That might be less expensive.
Someone will be very happy to hear about that. Yes.
this is chapelle.
Yeah.
Chambre de la Chapelle. And there's a radiator just there.
Pretty much.
What do you think, Davy?
If the pipe diameter is big enough, that should be possible. Yeah.
What?
It'd be the same drive.
There's something for anywhere else.
You don't need to turn it down, just keep the pipe on the same. It'll still be 16 mil.
Yeah, but if we were going to drill it through, we wouldn't have been able to connect it to the pipes of the radiator in the toilet. We would have had to go through to the boiler room itself and make a new connection to the collector there.
Excuse me, I think I just heard a beep. Someone might be trying to come in, but I think it's...
The other thing is also we need to talk about is the fact this room is actually going to be fully closed. We can't, apart from the window, is going to be wall-to-ceiling cupboards.
Yeah.
So actually, it's nowhere to put a radiator, which either means a pivot heater.
Underneath the window.
Ian, it's the rock wall.
Oh, really?
So I just had to reopen the door.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't see any dogs anywhere nearby.
Okay, where is he?
Speak of the rock wall, and it arrived. He's round the other side, just coming through. Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
Just coming in.
We've got a 10-ton lorry coming over our 3.5-ton bridge. This is why I want signs.
This is a gorgeous sight, Ian, isn't
I
it?
think it's wonderful. And by the fact that we're into the weekend now, we've had a lovely relaxing time lately. So obviously this is sort of gym fit again. So and all this insulation upstairs for me is going to be
This is the moment Philip's been waiting for.
good. Oh, I'm so pleased to hear it.
What?
This is the moment you've been waiting for, apparently, Philip.
Have I?
Yeah, this is your gym.
My gym?
That's what Ian says. He says you're going to carry each of these things of rock wool.
Are you calling me fat?
I'm just saying you haven't had to have a lot of exercise lately.
Well, that's
So,
debatable.
muscle tone, you see. Well, there's exercise and exercise, but we're talking muscle tone here.
This is the muscle tone guru of Lalande.
I've been called some many things, but never
Door.
muscle tone guru.
You're gonna take them down one by one or what?
Looks like it. That would be better. Okay, here we go. Excellent.
We only got us Monday and Friday next week.
So where would we use this if we don't use it here? And I actually still think we can use it here, looking at it in the space. If we make sure that the side ones are the shallower ones and the end ones are the deeper ones, I think we're okay.
If we don't use it in here,
Yes.
we're gonna use it in here for now, but maybe in future we can use it in the stables.
True.
Because, do you want to tell them?
Well, I'd really like to make a shop in the stables one day. Because then we're always finding really nice things that people can't. And I think it'd be nice for the bed and breakfast guests when they come here to be able to buy art that Ollie's done, photos by Michael Potts, maybe prints by Michael Petherick. Well, there's so many artists. And my father's art, obviously. It'd be nice to do a little shop there. But this would need a stable base in there because the flooring in the stables is just...
Yes,
It needs to be redone anyhow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I didn't know that. It needs to be redone anyhow. Just... It's a great day today.
And this thing needs to be made taller as well, so it should be fine. And if we make it taller, like straight level now, we could always saw a bit off to put it there.
That Davy's not gonna like that.
It's a way of fixing the problem, I'm just saying.
We might decide not to raise it because of this. That it would be less intrusive if it's lower. For a chatelaine is short. I think it can work. Okay, let's see how Ian's getting on.
Shall we move this thing out again? Cause
Yeah, let's put it outside here.
Shall I?
Yeah. Thank you.
Push against each other. Sure. Oh, you've got it.
Yes, just against the wall in the corridor because we have to bring the rest along here anyway. Or into the stables.
Where are we going to put it for now?
I think stables, yes. Lovely. I think this could make a lovely shop one day.
Yes. And if you ever want to make the gardens public and stuff, it could also be like the little entrance area or this side.
Yes.
People come in, park their car.
No pressure, Davy. Just need public gardens.
Okay. When he's finished, it might be like so nice that you want to open it up.
I have every faith. It's just might take a little while for things to grow.
Yes.
But we're patient. Well, it's been a tremendously exciting day so far. Okay. And I better shut that gate again before we get those dogs back. Okay, good chat. I think that a lot's been decided. Yeah, it's been very good. We should do this once a week, really. And maybe not be interrupted by the killer dog next time.
Well, that would help. For the very late delivery from
Yeah,
Newcombe.
yeah, look at that. Look how magnificent all of this is. I like this because it shows things are getting done. Okay, see you later.
Yeah.